Hello everyone, this is Mr. Lang. I'm in my computer science and software engineering class, a career and technology education class here at Gull Lake. And so today we're going to work on updating our virtual machine. Very important to do. I'll talk more about why it's important to do it later in the tutorial. But the first thing I need to do is I need to shut down my tutorial. And so I need to open up a terminal. I need to make sure I'm in my virtual machine, and the command to do that is sudo shutdown. Now I wanted to open up my virtual machine first to make sure that it is stable, it is actually opening up. I need to put in my password. You can't see me typing it across the screen, so you don't know how many letters it is, but my virtual machine is shutting down. So once it shuts down, I need to head over to my local computer, my Windows 10, where I'm hosting my operating system. And I need to make a backup. Backups are so critical on this. And I'm going to make a backup. Today's date is the 16th. All right. And so I put a date on that. I go along my breadcrumbs, head over to my operating system, and I want to just copy those. I like using my shortcut keys, Control A and Control C. When I start dragging through things, I can mess things up. And so I'm going to put those backup files in my backup directory. Again, so important to do a backup before you update your operating system. Why? Well, things could crash. Maybe your power goes out in the middle of updating your operating system, and things could really cause havoc. Your operating system won't boot regularly. You could be out of luck. Having a backup gives you somewhat a sense of comfort, knowing that if things do mess up, you have a backup. So now I have a backup, a same copy of my operating system, and I feel confident, ready to go. If I had any other backups in my backup directory, I'd want to get rid of those. We don't need those anymore. I have the latest backup right there. I'm confident and comfortable with that. So now that that is done, I'm going to load up my hypervisor. Again, we're using the VMware player as our software to run our operating system. And I'm going to reboot my Linux virtual machine. And you get all these messages all the time. Yeah. And we'll get it going. Because it's a clean install, hopefully it won't take too long to boot up. And it's going through its normal processes. And eventually here, we will update and start updating our operating system. All right, we're back in action. I'm going to go ahead and click on my username and type in my password. Well, I got to make sure my number lock is on. So I can type in my password. And it's continuing to boot up my operating system. Shouldn't take too long here. Thank you for your patience. And here comes my operating system. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this so I can look like I'm embedded in it. And now I need to go ahead and open up that terminal again so I can update my operating system. Well, let's click in my operating system and do that again. I'm using a shortcut key for Control-Alt-T. There's other ways you can get to your terminal. You can head on down to your applications and you can find your terminal here as well. There's a terminal, but I have my terminal open, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. And let's go ahead and I'm going to use my Control-Shift+ to make my terminal a little bit bigger so you can see a few things of what I'm doing here. And the first command that I need to do is called sudo, standing for super user do. And I'm going to type in apt-tac get spacebar update. It's going to go out to the internet to find any update that is available for my kernel. All right, and it's looking for those. So this may take a little bit of time. Usually this is fairly quick, but I'm waiting for my terminal to come back to the command line where I see my username at Ubuntu and I can put in more commands. And why should I update my operating system? Well, there's a few reasons, but one of the main reasons is, well, I'll come back to that in a second here. It is already back to my kernel. I'm going to use my up arrow on my keyboard. It brings me back to my last command. And I'm going to simply change that date to grade. Now it's actually going to take those files that are out there and upgrade it. It should ask me, hey, it's going to take some space on my hard drive. Well, hey, I've been lucky the last couple times. Mine actually didn't really have updates to install. I have the latest updates, which is good. Normally you would get to where it would come up with a question saying, hey, do you want to install these? And you would type in yes, and you would let it go through its system and install those. But once it's done, you would want to reboot. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to my sudo, and I'm going to backspace here, and I'm going to type in reboot. You always want to reboot to get those. Again, I didn't have any. I just updated my operating system yesterday as I was practicing, so I didn't have any updates. But you would want to. Again, why would you want to update your system? A big reason is security fixes. If they have any new patches that may be available for my operating system, you want to make sure that those are installed because there's always people trying to hack in networks. Also, for stability improvement. Sometimes you need new, for example, my router at home runs on Linux, and it was having some Wi-Fi connectivity issues. And after I updated the kernel, man, it has been working so much better. So knock on wood, hopefully it will continue to do so. Also, for any latest drivers that you may have, maybe you've got an awesome graphics card on your computer, and you don't go out every day to that hardware's website and look for any updates on your virtual machine. You can use the kernel will go out and update the latest driver. It knows what hardware you're working with, and it will update to the latest drivers. So very important to keep your operating system up to date. It's a great practice to do. So thank you for hanging out with me while I updated my virtual machine. Hope you learned something new, and I look forward to creating more vlogs in the future.